In this video, we honor the life and legacy of a remarkable mind who forever changed the way poker is understood and played. Today, we remember David Sklansky, a pioneer of modern poker theory, a respected author, and a strategist whose ideas shaped generations of players around the world. Mel Schilling, a respected relationship expert and widely recognized television personality, passed away on March 24, 2026, at the age of 54. Her passing marks a profound loss for audiences across the English-speaking world, not only for those who followed her work on screen, but for anyone who had ever found clarity, comfort, or guidance in her words. Best known for her role on the global reality franchise Married at First Sight, she became a defining presence in a genre often driven by drama. Yet, she stood apart. Where others leaned into spectacle, she brought sincerity. Where conflict dominated, she introduced understanding. Through her calm and thoughtful approach, she transformed conversations about relationships into something deeper, something meaningful. Her passing followed a courageous battle with advanced colorectal cancer. It was a journey she faced with openness and quiet strength. Even during the most difficult moments, she continued to speak with honesty and grace, encouraging others to confront life and love with courage and emotional clarity. In doing so, she became not only a professional voice of guidance, but also a personal example of resilience. Beyond her public life, Mel Schilling was a devoted wife and mother. She was married to Gareth Brisbane, an entrepreneur in the business sector, and together they built a life grounded in partnership and mutual support. At the heart of that life was their daughter, Madison, a young girl who brought immense joy and purpose to Mel's world. Motherhood was something she spoke about with deep affection, often describing it as one of the most transformative experiences of her life, shaping both her personal identity and her professional perspective on relationships. When news of her passing was shared by her husband through a heartfelt message on Instagram, it quickly resonated across the world. What began as a personal announcement soon became a global moment of remembrance, as audiences, colleagues, and fans gathered in collective grief. Throughout her career, Mel Schilling became more than just a television expert. She became a trusted voice in the lives of millions. Viewers did not simply watch her, they listened to her. They reflected on her words. They found pieces of their own experiences within the guidance she offered. Her presence on Married at First Sight was not defined by authority alone, but by empathy. She had a rare ability to address difficult truths without creating distance, to challenge individuals while still making them feel supported. In a space often shaped by conflict and heightened emotion, she brought balance, reminding both participants and viewers that understanding begins with listening. Her influence extended beyond television. Through her work, she contributed to a broader cultural conversation about relationships in the modern world. She emphasized that love is not simply about compatibility, but about communication, growth, and emotional awareness. These were not just ideas she presented. They were values she lived by and shared consistently throughout her career. The response to her passing reflected the depth of that impact. Messages of grief and gratitude spread rapidly across social media platforms, particularly Instagram, where the initial announcement was made. Major networks such as ITV and Channel 4, along with international media outlets, paid tribute to her life and contributions. Colleagues remembered her as not only a respected professional, but also a warm and supportive presence behind the scenes. Former participants of Married at First Sight, individuals who had worked closely with her during deeply personal moments, shared heartfelt reflections. Many spoke of how her guidance had stayed with them long after the cameras stopped rolling. Her words, they said, had helped them understand not only their relationships, but themselves. Fans around the world joined in this shared moment of remembrance. Thousands of messages filled comment sections and tribute posts. Yet, what stood out most was not the scale of the response, but its sincerity. People did not simply mourn her passing. They expressed gratitude. Gratitude for the clarity she brought into their lives. Gratitude for the reassurance she offered during moments of uncertainty. Gratitude for a voice that made them feel understood. Mel Schilling leaves behind a legacy that extends far beyond television. She helped redefine how relationships are discussed in the public space. She reminded us that communication requires courage, that understanding requires patience, and that meaningful connections are built through honesty and empathy. Her influence will continue in the quiet ways people carry her lessons forward, in conversations approached with more care, in relationships nurtured with greater awareness, and in moments where compassion replaces judgment. As we remember Mel Schilling today, we do so with both sorrow and gratitude. Sorrow for the loss of a voice that brought wisdom and compassion into so many lives, and gratitude for the legacy she leaves behind, a legacy defined not only by what she achieved, but by how she made people feel. Her story reminds us that even in a world filled with noise, a voice grounded in truth and empathy can still be heard, and more importantly, it can still make a difference.